So we're a day and a half away from the CDS exam on the 3rd this Sunday. And I know that the stress is high and the pressure is on, but I'm here to tell you how you can crack your English portion of the CDS paper. So number one, start with the quick questions. My personal suggestion is always to get the synonyms, antonyms, in case you get one-word substitution and idioms and phrases. So all the vocabulary bits, get them out of the way first. Ya to wo aate hain, ya to nahi aate. So if you know them, great, attempt them. Otherwise, leave the questions that you don't know and push forward. Then number two, take a crack at fill in the blanks. Now, fill in the blanks with the suitable word can come either in isolated sentences format or it can come in a passage format, jisko aap close comprehension bolte ho, CLOZE. In either of these, you just have to fill the blank with the most suitable word, which can be vocabulary related, or it could be articles, preposition, or grammar related. Again, either way, this will not take that much time because this is something you will either know immediately or you won't. So again, this will take less time. You can ration your time in the examination really well this way. Come to spotting errors next. Spotting errors, mera to personal favorite hai, but a lot of students get intimidated. But here's what you guys can, relax and here's what you should understand. Spotting errors make gut feeling bahut chalti hai. Gut feeling in the sense that when you read a question, sometimes you know that something is off in portion B, something is off in portion C. You may not know exactly why something is wrong, but you know that kuch yahan pe galti hai. Now, for my students, for my 4 students, you guys all have a spotting errors checklist. I told you to just run that checklist in the back of your mind if you ever get stuck in a question. There are only a handful of places, only 7 or 8 places, jahan se mistakes aa sakti hain. Otherwise, if you've read the question twice and you don't think there's anything wrong and you've exhausted your checklist, then mark D, no error, simple, and trust your gut. Okay. Then come to rearrangement questions. These are the simpler PQRS, the shorter ones, which also may be called ordering of words. Inme time kam lagta hai. Plus, if you use the numbering method, like a lot of my students know, then this will be done in no time, right? And with this, a chunk of your paper is already over. So now you can focus your attention and your time on the questions that you don't know, or you can use that time for reading comprehension and for S1, S6 questions. Because guys, jitne marzi simple honge wo, jitne marzi easy honge passages, reading them and then completely understanding will require time. So they will be time consuming. Even if they're simple, they will be time consuming. The final leg is what I call these 4 parts of the paper. The final leg of the paper is the big long guns. I call them the big guns, but long guns, right? Reading comprehensions hote hain, passages. Again, like I said, they will require your time. There are up to 35 questions that CDS people get asked, right? Dusre aate hain S1, S6. These are also rearrangement questions. Statement 1 is given, statement 6 is given, and in between you have P, Q, R, and S that you have to rearrange. Remember, a good hint for these questions is try and find a link. S1 is how the sentence or the passage will begin. S6 is the definitive ending. Both S1 and S6 are given to you via the question paper. So wo aap manipulate nahi kar sakte, wo aap change nahi kar sakte. Just rearrange PQRS. Remember SVO, subject, verb, object. So all the information about the subject first, then what is the subject doing, and the object or additional information after. Try and form a link and use the numbering method again. I can guarantee that errors come honge and time bhi kam lagega. Come to parts of speech. Parts of speech, I personally enjoy it a lot because ye bade short marks hote hain. Parts of speech, there are only 13 or 14 places. You can only be asked about verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions. You can be asked modals and auxiliaries में से पूछा जा सकता है, pronouns में infinitive, conjunction. So it's a limited portion from where you can be asked. And my students now all have their ammunition. They all have such comprehensive notes. Okay, ye wala portion to you should now be able to sail through, right? But still, because you know we are a little nervous or a little apprehensive about grammar, so ye portion thoda sa time lagata hai, which is why I always say attempt it towards the end, because your mind will be free ki kafi portion hamara already ho chuka hai. Then come to sentence improvement. Sentence improvement is that category जिसमें एक sentence दिया जाता है. Some part of it is in bold, or it is underlined, or it is italicized. It's in italics. You either have to grammatically correct the portion that is italicized or in bold or underlined, or if you think the sentence is totally correct as it is, then use the option no improvement if it's there. Agar no improvement ka option nahi hai, then revisit the question, matlab genuinely koi galti hai. Right? Again, see, I'm not saying that these are difficult portions of the paper. I'm just saying that these are time-consuming portions, but also scoring. You're not aiming to just qualify your exam, you're aiming to get merit. Okay, so these are places. See, synonyms, antonyms, idioms and phrases, spotting errors, parts of speech. These are the ones that separate the people who will just qualify the exam and people who will get merit, or SSB calls merit lists se aati hai, ulte, remember that. Then just general rules, keep guesswork at 10%. This is very logically done to negate negative marking. Ab negative marking, you know, is to the tune of -1/3. So 33.3% agar negative marking hai. Let's say there are 10 questions you don't know. Make sure that you only guess 3 or 4 of those questions. Kyunki agar sare galat bhi hue, even if you get all of them wrong, then you only lose marks worth 1 question or a little over, right? So just apply the same 30 to 40% formula, because if it's, let's say 20 questions you don't know, then don't attempt more than 6 to 7 as guesses. Ab guesses kahan se karni hai? Mera suggestion hamesha rehta hai, sabse pehla portion should be spotting errors, because like I said, you should trust your gut. You may not know why something is wrong, but sometimes when we read a portion, to galti ki jagah A, B, C hame pata chal jata hai, ya sometimes D, we realize ke no error. So spotting errors se karna, fill in the blanks se guesses karna, and maybe some synonyms. Don't attempt antonyms. Antonyms mein psychologically aap log thode se वैसे nervous ho jate ho. ठीक है? So remember, if you have to attempt guesses, either spotting errors, fill in the blanks, or synonyms. Very important, guys. Do not spend too much time on a question you don't know. If required, revisit. That means in your first go around, you should comfortably do all the questions that you know. Once you've solved the paper once, I always suggest revisit some questions, क्योंकि कई बारी थोड़ा सा once you've gotten a lot of it out of the way, थोड़ा calmly, अगर आप सोचो तो कुछ questions solve हो जाते हैं. नहीं तो I would say leave them. There is no point fussing over questions that you know you're going to struggle with. Make sure that जो बाकी के आपने करे हैं उनको भी revise कर लेना, so that there's now no room for error, right? Spend time reading questions. I've had students जिनके साथ horror stories होती है that वो synonyms की जगह antonyms and vice versa solve करके आ जाते हैं. It's not that they don't know. It's just that the nervousness at that time and the last minute jitters, they get the better of them. So take a deep breath. Most importantly, trust yourself, trust the process, trust the fact that you've put in honest, hard work, and you'll sail through. All the very best. And I hope to see you all on the other side.